Hello dear students, my name is Ankita and I am teaching as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. I welcome all of you to the another video of my online lecture series of subject computer networks, and in this video we are going to learn about congestion control distributed dual bus. In previous video we studied about WAN technologies and the various routing protocols, and how WAN are different from local area networks and how the wide area networks are made up. Let us move further in this video. So congestion is a situation where we have multiple packets on our channel, but receiver is not able to receive all those packets. So this situation may arise congestion. Congestion control can be there before any such situation happens. We can control that situation, and congestion control techniques are of two types: open loop congestion control, closed loop congestion control. Open loop congestion control says that it will prevent the congestion before it happens, and for doing so it follows different types of policies, among which retransmission policy, window policy, discarding policy, acknowledgement policy and admission policies are the different kind of policies. Okay, so first of all we will see the retransmission policy. This policy says that retransmitting your packets again and again, that may also increase the congestion, and if the sender feels that a sent packet is lost or corrupted, that packets need to be retransmitted, but that retransmission should be within the specific time. So that retransmission timers must be designed to prevent the congestion. Okay, so this retransmission, multiple times we are sending the same message. If any packet was lost or corrupted, so we are sending that packet again and again. So there should be a timer that within that particular amount of time, if packet was not received, that packet should be retransmitted. Next is window policy. Both sender and receiver maintains a window, you can say as a type of buffer, which stores the packet in it, incoming packet or sending packets. So sender side maintains its own window and receiver side maintains its own window. So there are two types of window: go back and windows, and the second one is selective repeat window. Go back and window says that although some packets may be received successfully at the receiver side, but if any packet was not received properly, that go back and windows resend the packets again and again. So this also increase the congestion. So to improve that problem, or to resolve that problem, selective repeat window should be used. And because in go back and window protocol we are resending the packets again and again, so duplication may arise. So selective repeat window should be adopted, as it sends the specific packets that may have been lost. So that specification is decided on the priority of the packets. Discarding policy is the another policy. It is a if the routers inside your network adopts a good discarding policy, that may help to prevent the congestion. And discarding policy partially discards the corrupted or the less sensitive packets, and it also maintains the quality of the service. So for example, in case of audio file transmissions, routers can discard less sensitive packets or any packet if they have weak signals inside it. Okay, so to maintain the quality of the audio files, it can discard the less sensitive packets. So acknowledgement policy is another policy which says that basically what happens is when receiver receives any packet, it sends the acknowledgement, whether that acknowledgement is for successful receiving or whether that acknowledgement is for informing the sender that the packet was lost. So acknowledgements are also another important part of the load in your network, so they may also impose congestion in your network. So several approaches can be used to prevent the congestion related acknowledgement. So one is the receiver should send the acknowledgement for the n packets rather than sending the acknowledgements for a single packet. So instead of sending acknowledgements for individual packets, the receiver should send n number of acknowledgements at a time. Okay, the receiver should send and should send the acknowledgement only it has to send the packet or a timer expires. Okay, so in admission policy it says that it is a mechanism that should be used to prevent the congestion. Switches in flow should first check the resources requirement of the network flow before before transmitting it further, and it should be a chance of congestion or there is a congestion in the network, so the router should deny establishing a virtual network connection to prevent further the connection. So it says that admission policy should be based on that if that particular packet or computer has the important message or important packet to send, so only on the basis of that the computer should be added into the network, and switching should be done accordingly. Like switching says that we are transferring control from one end to another. Okay, so second type is closed loop congestion control. It is a technique to treat or alleviate the congestion after it happens. So it also follows certain techniques to treat the congestion. So back pressure is one technique. See, have a look at this diagram. So this is the source and the destination. We have intermediate 4 nodes. So if this source has sent packet, this source wants to send packet to the destination. So if there is any congestion encountered at node 3, then node 3 will inform the computer next to it or preceded by it. Then second computer will inform the node preceded by it, that is node 1 or computer. Then computer source, this first will inform the source. So this is known as the back pressure. So back pressure technique can be applied only to the virtual circuit but not to the datagram circuits. In such virtual circuits, each node knows the upstream node from which a data flow is coming. So this node must be knowing that I received this packet from the second node. This will be knowing that I received packet from the first node. As you can see in the diagram, back pressure says that whenever or at any node, if congestion is encountered, that node will send the data to its upstream, towards its upstream nodes, and they will inform about the congestion to the sender. The second one is choke packet technique. Choke packet technique is applicable to both the virtual networks as well as the datagram circuits. And a choke packet is a packet that is sent by a node to the source to inform it of the congestion. Each router monitors its own sources and the utilization at each of its output line. Whenever the resource utilization exceeds the threshold value, which is set by the network administrator only, the router directly sends a choke packet to the source, giving it the feedback to reduce the traffic. So here, suppose here we encounter the congestion, so this node will directly send the choke packet to the source, and choke packet is different from the data packets. Okay, that is a special packet which is designed to inform the source that there is a congestion, so slow down the traffic. Okay, the intermediate nodes will not get any warning regarding this choke packet. So wherever we are encountering the congestion, it will directly send to the source itself. So there are another techniques like implicit signaling, explicit signaling, forward and the backward signaling, which are used by the congestion control technique. Implicit signaling, there is no communication between the congested node and the source, and the source guesses that there is a congestion. So implicit signaling says that sender will not get any message from any other node that congestion has occurred, but it will think, or it will assume that there is a congestion on the network, or it guesses only. For example, when the sender sends several packets and there is no acknowledgement for a while, then one assumption is that there could be congestion, so that it could not receive the acknowledgement. Explicit signaling is if a node experiences congestion, it can explicitly send a packet to the source or the destination directly to inform about the congestion. So the difference between the choke packet and explicit signaling is that the signal is included in the packet itself, rather than carrying that information into the chalk packet. So chalk packet is different and data packet is different. Chalk packets are designed only to inform the sender or the receiver that there is congestion, whereas data packet contain actual data. So explicit signaling can be in either direction, forward or backward direction. Forward signaling says that the signals will be sending on into the forward direction only. The destination is warned about the congestion, but not the sender will get any information regarding the congestion. The receiver in this case adopt the policy to prevent the further congestion. So in this case, forward signaling, receiver will take action to prevent the congestion rather than the sender. What happens in backward signaling? It says that because in forward signaling it was moving towards the destination, in backward signaling source will be informed or source will be warned. So these four type of signaling are can be used by the chalk packet as well as the back pressure. Back pressures only says that it will send data directly to the node preceded by the congested node. Okay, so there is no need of signaling. Only one type of signaling is occurring here, backward signaling. So this node is having congestion, so it will inform the second node and it will inform the first node, and then finally the source will be informed. Chalk packet can have any of these four type of signaling: implicit, explicit, forward or the backward. Okay, so backward signaling is to warn the source only about the congestion, and that source needs to slow down its traffic. So the second topic is apart from congestion control, the distributed QoL data bus. It is the IEEE 802.6 version of your Ethernet IEEE standards, which defines the man area network, which defines the standard for man area network, which covers the entire city. And the basic geometric of DQDB is as follows: two parallel unidirectional bus will be there, buses, or you can say channel or the medium. Okay, they are laid down in the area to be covered by the network. The stations are attached to both the buses in the parallel. Each bus has a head end which generates a steady stream of 53 byte cells. So this is the size of the packet, or we in terms of DQDB we call them a cell. Each cell travels downstream from the head end. When it reaches the end, it falls off the bus, and each cell carries the 44 byte payload field, which is the data field, and rest of the bytes contain the control information and the other addressing information. Okay, so which makes it compatible with the AAL layer of the ATM networks. We will study ATM in next videos. Each cell also holds in two protocol bits. First bit is busy and second one is request. So busy is set to indicate that the cell is occupied, and request says that which can be set when a station wants to make any request. So busy is to inform the nodes that the cell has been occupied. Okay, and request is used that request bit is used to inform the node that we are requesting for the cell. So in general, to transmit a cell, a station has to know whether the destination is to the left or its right side. So if the destination is at the right side, the sender uses bus A, and otherwise otherwise it will use bus B. So data are inserted directly onto the bus, either onto the bus using a wire or the circuit. So the failure of a station does not take down the network. How the actual functioning happens? This is the flow of the data. With the help of arrows, we have shown the flow of the data onto the buses. Okay, if you want to see the working diagram of the DQDB, then it is the working diagram. Okay, see, this is bus B. Upside we have bus B and downside we have bus A. So this is the actual flow of the data. So in case when the node 2 sends data to station 4, you can say node, you can say station, you can say computer, whatever you feel comfortable. Suppose computer 2 wants to send data to computer 4. So it will initiate from this direction, it will go to this node 3, then node 4. Okay, so red colored boxes depicts the actual data packet which you want to transmit to another computer. So if station 3 for example wants to send data to computer 1, so so your node is at this side in this case, A case, and in the B case your receiving node is at the another side. So if station 3 wants to send data to 1, it will send in this manner. Okay, it will first received by station 2, and then it will go to station 1 finally. So upward and downward, there are, because its name is dual bus, so there are 2 buses. So this protocol, they do not have greedy stations, and in all others, if station gets a chance to send, it sends. And here the queue up, and here the packets are queue up, and they become ready to transmit in the first in first out order. And all this without having a central queue even. We have 1 bus and 2 bus. All the packets will be, or all the cells will be queued up, and they will be sent in the first in first out manner. And to simulate the FIFO queue, each station maintains the 2 counters. They are known as RC and CD. RC is the request counter. So this is very important point. To initiate the transmission in FIFO queue, there are 2 counters maintained. First one is the request counter, and the second one is your CD counter. So request counter counts the number of downstream requests pending until the station itself has a frame to send, and at this point RC is copied to the CD, and RC is reset to 0, and now now counts the number of the requests made after the station become ready. So with the help of these 2 counters, RC and CD, your DQDB network works. Okay, so this was all about DQDB. Because these questions are asked in short note, as short notes, so I have included only that much content that you can from that you can get clear idea, and you will get enough content to write in the short note, as the short note in final examination. Okay, so thank you for today.